Hello everyone, my name is John Lynch, and today I'm going to be talking about reverb in your recording. And I already have my DAW open in my project, and I have a track recorder that I'm going to be working on, and I have two reverb inserts that I'll be using. One of them is a convolution, and the other one's an algorithmic, and I'll be comparing and contrasting the two in this video. Now to start off, I'm going to be talking about the algorithmic first, and the main thing about the algorithmic and the convolution is that the algorithmic is based on algorithms pretty much, whereas the convolution is pre-recorded with pre-recorded room spaces that it's pretty much like a sample that you lay over your audio track. Now I'm going to be opening up my convolution. This is my algorithmic. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to be opening up my algorithmic, and as you can see, there's a lot of stuff going on here. In algorithmic, you can affect the room shape. It's the main thing that you can't do in the convolution. And you can affect the length, the pre-delay, the dry and wet, the mix, and the size and shape of all the rooms and everything over here. So I'm going to be playing into my mic the track that I have with this disabled first. What I can do with this is once it's enabled, it'll give that reverb sound first of all. That's just what reverb does. And I can affect the room size, the pre-delay, the length of the delay, and how much I want that delay or the reverb to overpower the actual sound. And so I'm going to start off with the pre-delay first. So I'm going to play this, and then you can hear me adjusting the pre-delay, and you'll hear the differences. So as you can hear, it gives that boom, 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 boom when it's a longer millisecond ratio as compared to a shorter one like 100 versus 300. The pre-delay is pretty much that first delay when the reverb first begins. Now the length is the next part that I'm going to be talking about, and this is how long the reverb lasts for. So here I'm going to be playing you what it sounds like to use the length with your recording. I'm going to increase the length right now. So as you can hear, that sustain of the reverb just hangs on for a long time because it's not going to be limited to a short amount of time. If it's higher up, it's going to keep that reverb going and it'll sustain out the reverb longer. Now, next part I'm going to be talking about is the dry and wet. And what this does pretty much is balance between having no effect versus having all of it being effect. So I'll show that to you right now. So this is with no effect. And now I'll increase the wet. So as you can see, when an effect is wet, that means it's all the way up pretty much. The reverb is totally overpowering the sound because it's 100% wet. So when you're using these, you usually put it somewhere in the middle so that you get that dry and the wet both combined to create your further sound. Over here, you have your room size adjustments, and these adjust the barriers of your digital space pretty much that you're pretending that you have your setup in. And this is this can get really complicated, and I don't have enough time to explain it all, but basically all these controls affect the changing size of your room. Now I'm going to be talking about the convolution reverb. It's a bit simpler Pretty much it's just a sample that you overlay into whatever track you have. So I'm going to enable it here. And here I'll enable it. Now, this Convolution Reverb has the same effects as the room reverb pretty much. It has that pre-delay that we talked about already, where you affect how fast that first reverb hit is going to be. Then the next one is the size. So I'll show you the differences in size, what that means. So as you can see with the size, that just makes the reverb get louder. It increases the effect of the reverb and is increasing the size of your effect that you're inputting there. Damp. It's kind of like dry and wet in a way, and I'll show you that right now. So on 0%, you can see that it has more effect peeking through, and when it's at 100%, it's pretty much off. So that's the basics for your two different kinds of reverb, and that's the main contrast between the two. The Algorithmic gives you a lot more control over your spatial features, and they both have their benefits, and they both contribute greatly to your musical process. Thank you. My name is John Lynch, and this has been a lesson on reverb.